So what I want to do today is fix my lighting setup, because as you can see currently, we got that guy, which is just an LED strip with a best college light bag over it. So it's just a plastic bag. And over here, we got a lamp. That's all the lighting I have for making videos. The plan is to 3D print something to make this, the other LED strip, and that guy make a softbox, so I can get nice lighting in here. That way it's not shadow on this side, shadow on that side, and a little bit of light here. Now, time to actually build the stuff. So in order to build something around this light, we need to first measure it out. And since my dial calipers, they're not long enough to measure all the way out to there, what we're going to use is a simple tape measure. So, let's see, from the end of the cable to the end of the other end, it's 14 3/8 of an inch. So this way around, it is 14 3/8 from getting over to here to right about here, right? Now we also need to figure out the width of the LED strip. So this is where the calipers can come in. So it is 10.05 millimeters. So this way around, over here, 10.05 millimeters. And we can input that into our CAD software. So we can put this in here and then 3D print everything around it. So now we're going to put the measurements into Fusion 360. So 14 and 3.75 inch, which is around 14 and 3/8, 10.05 millimeters for the width. And we're going to measure out the LED strips depth, which should be around 3 millimeters, including the LED. That's where we're going to set it to. So here's our LED into the CAD. So the idea is to have it be like a softbox, like a cone almost. So it'll be flat on the bottom like that, so that way it has a place to mount stuff to. And it'll go out like this and be like a clamshell. So it'll be like a Krusty Krab clamshell. This part up here, this will be translucent, probably made of the same material as the paper, as the plastic bag that's up here. Just cut down and then wrapped over it. And down here is all going to be blacked out, so that way it doesn't allow light to leak out the sides. It's just more focused down into the corner. So light here, but then no light here and here. So that way it's not blowing everything else out. So now on to designing that. The printed piece is finished. So now let's see how it goes together on this guy. We'll work our way from the bottom to the top. We'll see what changes need to be made to them to make it actually functional. Alright, so a few things that I notice immediately is the pieces are a bit small, so I need to make them a little bit bigger. And I also need to add some sort of backing to them, like a way I can attach them together. Because currently, they're just free floating, so like if I'm not holding this down, it's just dominoes, right? So I need to figure out that, and I also need to figure out a way for mounting it to a tripod or a light stand or something like that. Probably just putting a quarter 20 nuts inside of it, like one of these inside of it, so that way it can screw onto a tripod or a light stand or basically anything I want it to mount to. I can just make something custom and have it screw in. So what I'll probably do is on the bottom, what I'll do on the bottom is just have like interlacing bars that hook up. We'll have like little connectors that I can either melt together or glue together to make it easier to attach it all together, because I'm not going to be able to print it in one piece just because of the sheer size of it. So I'll have these in between each one of the spars, so it connects them all together until we have all 5 spars together. And then what we can do is have a little screw mount, so that way it'll go thing at the bottom or whatever at the bottom of the spars that connects up. That'll either screw into here, they screw into that piece, or it'll just be a one piece with all of these, like with the bottom one. So it'll be spar plus this, and then everything else. Obviously with the LED strip in the middle. Alright, so the prints are finished. We have our two top and bottom. We have our top and bottom piece. We have this piece right here. This is where we'll have a mounting point. We're gonna stand, and then here's our top end cap. And they all should just go together like basically like Legos, honestly. Just like that. And then we have the last final piece. Just like that. Now we have all of them together. Now we can put the LED strip in there. You can see that it all fits in there nicely. Now the next thing to do is we're gonna first add the nuts onto this guy. There's 5 nuts that go here, and they're simple, just M3 nuts that we can just slot right in. Let's see if they will press fit, or do I have to grab a screw and do it that way? Okay. I have to grab a screw and do it that way. So one way for getting these nuts in and snug, making sure that they'll actually stay in permanently, is using a screw on the other end to tighten it down into the hole. That way the nut always goes in straight while being able to push past any resistance from the sidewalls being a little bit too small. Because you want them a little bit smaller just to make sure you can easily have it stand there and not have to worry about it falling out, and then now you have to do the whole process over again. So let's get back on. again. So now we have all 5 nuts in there. So we can now go and solder all the plastic together. I'll do that off camera just to make it easier. Alright, so now the pieces are all melted together. We need to make the sidewalls for all this. The plan, got plenty of old cardboard boxes, and so what I can do is cut them up to make sidewalls, and then I can glue them on. And then we're gonna mark exactly where this starts and ends on the cardboard from the corner using a simple black paint marker. So we can see roughly how it goes on this side. I'm going to get it as flat as possible. Goes this side up to here. And there. And it spans across all of these. So now what we can do is we can use a tape measure to get a straight line on that. As straight as we can get. All the way across. Just like that. So now we're going to cut that out. There we go. Just like that. And then we will glue that into place. And we'll repeat it for the other side. So, pretty easy, simple. Just like that. So that way it looks like this on the inside. So I will see you once that is all glued together. It's on to doing the top plates, which are probably going to be the hardest to do. Just a general outline of everything, so... Now that we have that, then cut out the 2 straight lines first, and then we can do the curve. We got that little piece right there, which should fit pretty much perfectly right here. Now we can use this as a template to cut out the other piece. So we don't have to go through the process of outlining around that massive plate. We can just use the other plates for it. There we go. Now we have the second piece cut out. And they're about the same size. One of them is a bit bigger because it did the outline, so what we can do is we can put them together like this and use a paint marker to mark where we need to cut off the excess. You can see where we need to cut it off. And there we go. Now, they're the same exact size. And now what we're going to do is glue on the actual pieces to here and then let them all set. Another thing I'm going to do with this is, as you can see, there's a little bit, you can see right here, there's a little bit of the wall hanging over. I'm going to cut that down. So that way it's easier to just get it flush with the material versus having to deal with it being higher on one side and messing everything up. So now we're going to just put glue along here, and then clamp the little piece down. I'm just using some E6000. You can get it at Hobby Lobby for dirt cheap, and it sticks well to basically everything. Something I actually want to do really quickly before I put it on here. As you see, right here is where the light strip will go in. So I want to cut that corner off a little bit higher. That way I can easily fit the light strip in without having to worry about it having clearance issues in the future whenever we're putting the actual thing together. So just that, we put that there. Put that in closer. Okay, and now we can just clamp it down. So now that everything is glued together, as you can see here, we got all this done up, right? The caps are all done. Now it's time to spray paint it all. So first we're gonna spray paint the inside, since that's gonna be the easiest to do. And when you're spray painting on concrete, it's always good to have a piece of cardboard underneath it, so that way you don't get overspray all over the concrete. So when you're doing this, you want to try to get nice, even coats on your part. You don't want it to go on too much, because then that could lead to just it being all runny and then also not looking good in general. It is a bit windy out today, so gotta get a little bit closer to the parts. And now we just wait for that to dry, and then we can put the LED strip in there, white over the top. Alright, so now everything is fully painted and dried. So now what I plan to do is to minimize reflections on the inside is just paint it all with a simple black paint marker. So that way, whenever we put the covering on it, and whenever it reflects light on the inside, it's not green after that, because this dries very quickly. We're going to glue in the LED strip and then the film, and we're going to let that dry, and then we can test it out. Alright, now that that is done, it's not the best paint job, but it will work for what I need it to. Now it's time to glue in the LED strip, and then glue in the top film, and then let it dry, and then this will be done. Actually, I don't even have to glue in the LED strip, just because of how the spray paint made it fit. That ain't going nowhere. So now what we'll do is we'll take this guy. This guy will be our film to put on top. It's just a simple plastic bag. You just need to cut it up. So once this is finished drying, what we'll do is we'll cut off all the excess and then it'll work. Alright, the glue has pretty much finished drying, so now we can trim off the plastic and turn this thing on. Alright, there we go. Now let's plug this thing in and test it out. Ta-da! Now we have plenty of light. Now we can actually properly light up the workspace compared to without the light and without. So now we can actually do, we'll have the tape measure be center of the frame. That. So there's with the light, there's without the light. It makes it a more even light to it in correspondence with the top light up here. So, but yeah, there we go. Now time to set up the same shot that I did before at the start of the video, just with the light to show the difference. Alright, there we go. Now we got the new light on this side, so we got good, make a little depth and whatnot. So, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Probably next one's going to be organization, working on making an easy system, keep everything organized and clean. And then after that, I'm going to continue working on the camera bag thingy with the old Pelican case I have. And probably also mounting a top-down camera using an old webcam that I got. Using this guy to probably mount it onto the mic arm. So we have a good top-down view, so I'm not going from every other angle around me except for top-down. So, yeah, there we go. Thank you for your time. Have a happy new year, and have a great rest of your night or day, or whenever you're watching this.